Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Mind of a Madness podcast with myself and the one.
Hello.
There he is. There he is.
How y'all doing?
How you all? We hope that you are all doing well and you are feeling good and life is being nice to you. We hope you've all had a good start to the new year. Of course, we are coming up to the end of January now, which is fucking crazy to think that a month has gone by that quickly.
I know, yeah.
But
yeah.
Some news.
January is the longest month.
Yeah, apparently. Although it's fucking flown by for me. I'm like, what? But yeah, we've got a few news things to talk to you guys about. Maybe a little bit of gaming. Definitely a few little films and TV shows. But yeah, shall we get started with the little introductions that we always do? How has your week or 2 weeks been, Sean? It's been 2 weeks.
Yeah, my 2 weeks have been all right. A little bit of an emotional roller coaster and getting used to things and kind of just settling down with things. Obviously, I got my glasses literally picked them up on the last day of the podcast 2 weeks ago. Yeah. So I've gotten used to them now. But yeah, there's a few little teething issues which I've been trying to deal with behind the scenes, but it doesn't really matter too much. I've come to terms with a few things, and I'm not letting anything kind of get me down in that way. I'm just kind of going, fuck you. I'm going to continue as I am. But yeah, it's other than that, it's been pretty quiet and just kind of chilled really.
As you do.
And how has your 2 weeks been?
Yeah, it's been all right. A few plans with the family, a few things that we've crossed the I's, dotted the T's to make sure. I like doing it backwards.
Where does that expression come from?
No idea. But yeah, we've just been finalising a few things. Obviously, we've got a funeral that we're dealing with, so that's all been sorted now. Few little stressful things here and there. You know, life throws little curveballs at you, and you're like, motherfucker, trying to dodge it. So yeah, just ploughing along.
It's weird. It's like you sail through December and you're like, okay, we're just winding down now. Wind down for the year. Yeah. Then January comes in. It's like all guns are blazing again.
Yeah, it has been pretty.
It's an adjustment.
Hectic. I think as well as something to mention here as well. If you are going through mental health stuff and whatnot, of course, we'll have stuff down in the description. If you need to go and get help, of course, do so definitely. But also
January's hard.
And make sure to balance your life healthily. Work, hobbies, friends, family. Everything. It can be very difficult sometimes, and
we know quite a few people struggling. Jesus Christ!
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I've been struggling to balance the work / sort of hobbies and social life sort of train that goes by. I've been out of whack for a little while now, so everything's kind of been a bit skew with. But take some time for yourself. Make sure you're okay, and balance yourself before you balance your life.
A master of not taking his own advice.
I am a master of not taking my own. I won't change. Like, I'm always going to be like this. That's just how it is. But, take my advice, and I will try and take my own advice, but we'll see. But, Sean, you're absolutely right, sir. I don't take my own advice.
I'm not great at giving advice, but I don't take my own advice either.
It's easier to give the advice because you're outside looking in, and then when you look at yourself, you're like, I could really use that advice. The next day comes, you're like, what did I say again? Who cares? And just carry on.
But then you realise no one else takes your advice anyways.
Fuck's sake.
Anyway, before getting too deep into that rabbit hole, shall we move on to the news?
Yes, let us jump into the first subject that we have, which is news. What have you got, sir?
Shall we start off with a bit of arse talk?
Arse? Go on.
Yeah, so King Charles has gone in for his prostate surgery. I think it's today as we film this. So yeah, that's something that's happened. I know Kate has gone in for a little abdominal surgery as well. So there's a few little surgeries within the royal family. Yeah. Amazing how they get them done, extremely fast. Yeah. Well, we don't know for sure, but I'm assuming they probably discovered something was wrong at the weekend, and now he's going in for surgery. When there's someone like my granddad who has been, on this kind of journey for 18 months, being passed around different kind of departments and different health professionals to kind of just even get a consultation, and he has to go to Liverpool for that, bearing in mind he lives like an hour and a half away from just for a consultation. So yeah. It's a bit annoying to hear stuff like that, but
Yeah.
I mean, as long as the king's all right.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. We've talked about it many times, but that's the level here. That's them. That's us. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, they don't give a shit. So
Yeah, nothing's too much for them.
no, exactly. I mean, it is shocking how quickly like you see celebrities or like big, important people. I put in quotations because yes, the king is important, but
Yeah.
sometimes people are classed as important that aren't. That they can get
I
shit
reckon
done in seconds, but for us,
they should they obviously they'll have gone like the private route and stuff, but
of course.
they should be forced to use the NHS because like we as a collective are funding this NHS and they're like the symbol of the people. They should be using like these services.
Yeah, I mean they always talk
If
how
they
proud they
force
are
them
of it.
so much. Yeah.
So.
So why don't you get on that list, King Charles? You'll probably be dead before you even get their surgery.
Yeah,
So,
I mean that is true. I mean that's how it is for all of us. There's a lot of people that get on those lists and don't even make it to a consultation because, unfortunately,
which I'm not shitting on the NHS. They are wonderful, but the waiting lists are.
Not the staff. Again, whenever we shit on the NHS, it's not a case of we're shitting on the people that work at the NHS.
It's the management.
It's the management and the funding for it. Like it's
Funding, yeah.
I mean, it's not going to be. I've said this the other day. I was like, give it 2-3 years, everything will be private. I'm pretty confident in saying that because I don't get me wrong. I would hate for that to come true because the NHS is one of the best things that we have in the UK. Free healthcare for everyone, no matter what. That is amazing. But it's so underfunded and broken at this point. I just don't see it lasting. And when you've got people like King Charles, obviously, that go private because they can afford it, obviously, and MPs, important people that go private, it's just encouraging that sort of change, I think, for the UK. Obviously, in America, you guys have had to pay for your healthcare fucking forever. So, I mean, you're kind of like, welcome to our world, but this is new for us.
It's not so much if you need to go for a checkup; it's if you can afford to go for a checkup.
Yeah, it's like I'm ill, but I can't afford it, so I've just got to carry on.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. I don't know how they do it in America.
No, but I think that's the thing. They're so used to it now, aren't they? I think that's why it's such a big culture shock for the UK because we have had the NHS now for over 100 years, I believe it is at this point, isn't it? Or maybe slightly under. I'm not too sure.
Yeah,
but
maybe slightly under.
We've had it for a very, very long time, and it's only now that people are having to go out and buy medications that normally they just go and get an appointment with the doctor for.
Yeah,
I know I've started doing that. Like if I need medications that I know I've had from the doctors to help me with something before, I'll just go and pick it up from the chemist, and it's not cheap.
I know, yeah.
So I mean, it's new for us. We're still adjusting, but I think it's also because of how poorly, I guess, the transitioning is happening. Like,
you get like a choice to wait weeks and weeks and weeks, or just get it done and be out of pain, but out of your own pocket as well.
Yeah, poor. Like a bankrupt after it, bankrupt.
Capitalism.
Capitalism is its finest. But yes, of course, we speak on this behalf, but of course we wish King Charles the best, and we hope he's okay. Of course we do.
I bloody don't. No, I do, yeah.
I bloody don't. But yeah.
Of course.
Of course. We
wouldn't
don't
wish
no.
pain on anyone.
No, exactly. And we wish him a speedy recovery as well, of course. But there is a bigger conversation around that topic that obviously we're not afraid to talk about. So,
well, I hope I didn't start that off too negatively. Do you have any news things?
Well, I've got 2 news things that I decided that I would go with this week. The first one is Mark Drakeford obviously commenting on the fact that he didn't delete any phone messages during the time of COVID. Of course, a lot of MPs being investigated, and of course, Mark Drakeford, even though he has stepped down now as First Minister for Wales, is still part of the investigation that's going on, I believe, in February and March. Yeah, so Wales' decision-making in the pandemic will be scrutinised when the COVID inquiry visits Cardiff in February and March. I think Drakeford's comment was, I was a very sparing user of electronic ways of communicating. I used them very little and only genuinely when I simply needed to tell somebody, for example, that a meeting was about to start. So I'm afraid there's likely to be very little interest in the few messages that have been sent to me. He was asked whether he or his ministers had deleted messages as well, and his quote was, "I can't speak for everybody because, as we've now learned, different people's phones had different settings on them, and things were happening without people even necessarily knowing that what was going on. I don't think there's anything deleted on my phone, but there wasn't much to start with." I won't obviously go through the entire thing. I'll leave a link for it down below if you guys want to go and check it out. But I mean, I don't really believe him.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
I would be surprised if there is nothing on his phone, because every other MP and politician has seemingly, deleted all of their messages, and Nicola Sturgeon, Boris Johnson. They've all kind of got rid of all the things, or lost their phones in the sea, or whatever. That stupid excuse is.
Well, I mean, I think Nicola Sturgeon removed all of her messages, didn't she? She actually deleted them. Deleted them. And I think Mark Dreyford's kind of trying to get his foot forward before he gets investigated, saying like, "Oh, if stuff's missing, that's not my fault. It just gets deleted anyway." It's like, you're an MP. You should be making sure that isn't the case. Like. That should be a golden rule, right, for anyone working in government.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just have messages being deleted, especially when an investigation's going on. Like,
yeah, this is the kind of thing that just needs to adapt with the times, isn't it? Because 50 or so years ago, this wasn't a problem.
No, exactly.
They could just basically do whatever they want, say whatever they want behind closed doors, and no one would bat an eyelid, and no one would know any different. But in this day and age, you can't quite get away with that all the time now.
No, I wonder why.
So is there a bit of a culture shock?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I understand that obviously times have changed, technology has changed, but isn't that a reason to update the rules and regulations and everything? Again, something we've talked about before is that stuff should be updated, and it just never does. They just don't want to change anything. So
yeah, I feel like they should not be allowed to use their phones at all for like political business.
Yeah. Absolutely.
They should have to, or they should have like separate ones, like one for personal, one for business.
Yeah, have like a government-appointed phone that
is
literally, like, in the programming, stops them from removing messages and deleting stuff. Like,
and it all needs to be like uploaded onto a system or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of work and it would be infrastructure to put in place, but it would help them a lot. Like, if they were called liars, they could be like, "Well, just refer back to these."
Yeah,
but that's the
problem. They need to like log into a portal and somehow.
Yeah.
But obviously they never thought about that. They're just like, "Oh, hey, Bo, how's it going? Enjoying your cornflakes? Let's talk about COVID laws."
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's not looking great for...
How can we bullshit the people today?
Yeah, exactly. Not the greatest luck, to be fair. So, but I mean, we'll see. Hopefully with a bit of time, maybe they find nothing. Maybe he's telling the truth. Like, I'm not saying that he isn't. Maybe he is telling the truth. Maybe he doesn't use his phone that often, and it is all just for like messages about meetings and stuff. But the problem is I don't think anyone trusts anyone in the government anymore. So even if he's being honest, he's going to be scrutinized for it, and especially he's going to be like, "You're saving your own ass here." Let's be real. So yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
Have you got anything else, good sir?
Apparently Royal Mail have been in talks to kind of change to a 3-day week of like delivering letters rather than 6 days, which apparently it is now. Not that you'd know it around here because we only get fucking mail once a week. But apparently they're going to cut down and it'll save them billions of pounds and stuff. I think Royal Mail in general is kind of moving. They don't like being the sole responsibility of like letters. So they kind of prefer the packages and kind of prioritizing those because that's where the main money is probably. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, what's going to happen in the future when it comes to Royal Mail and getting your letters delivered? Is like someone else going to take over that? Or...
Yeah.
God knows.
Someone else.
Hermes. Every. No one will ever get anything important. Everything just has to change to like paperless now, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I thought that was what most things did anyway. Like, I'm pretty sure all of my bills and stuff are all like electronic now, and we have to look stuff up and whatnot. But yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things. I think it's been in talks for a while, hasn't it, that they wanted to change their system and how they do it. So maybe this is it. Maybe this is the start of That big
Yeah,
change.
I mean, we won't notice a change around here because we get mail so little, and it's all like they come once a week with a massive stack full of things that should have been posted separately.
Yeah.
It's like okay, so I feel like they're already trialing it around here, but also it will kind of increase the workload of the ones that of like the shifts that they have to do because like it'll be a big pile up of things.
I was going to say,
But I suppose if they have to go around, yeah, probably have to work longer days and. It's going to be more of a strain on the staff at the lower end, but obviously management doesn't see that. So, well, let's hope they find a good compromise or a medium where we can all be happy. But that will never happen, let's face it.
Never going to happen.
We'll know in one way or the other, so it doesn't matter.
Oh dear.
But yes, anything else good to say?
So one thing that I have spoken on briefly in the past, but we actually noticed this. So when I was coming back from where I was staying with a family member, I was staying down in Port Talbot. So as we were coming past, the news vans were there. There was a bunch of people protesting, and a bunch of union people standing there, sort of stopping what's going on. At Port Talbot Steelworks. For those of you who are not aware, it has now officially been put through that they are going to close both furnaces, which means that up to 3,000 people lose their jobs immediately. What people have campaigned for is for them to shut off one furnace, but keep the other one going so that they can upgrade one furnace and then switch to the other one later and upgrade that one. However, Tata Steel, I think, is the company that owns them. They've just said no. Despite just recently investing in Indian coal mining and stuff.
Yeah.
Or steel making, sorry.
Yeah, it's like, well, it's cheaper over there, so let's just invest there.
Yeah, it's like wanting to improve their carbon footprint.
Are we going to end up like a country that doesn't create anything or innovate anything, just imports everything because it's cheaper elsewhere?
Yeah.
Like, we need to invest in our own like manufacturing services and stuff.
There have been calls to nationalise it again, but I don't see that happening. Like, I don't see the government buying it.
No.
Which, I mean, has already been put forward. As Rishi Sunak has said, that they've saved 5,000 jobs in Port Talbot steel industry by apparently giving a £500 million rescue package. Bullshit. You're full of shit, Sunak, and you know you are.
That's like sending everyone a pizza.
Exactly. What a load of twatting bollocks. Like, it's hilarious to me that the Prime Minister seems to think that that is enough. It's like, no and no. Like, it's 2,800 jobs that are immediately now going to disappear. Just overnight, just gone. They're not left with anything. I think there are severance packages that are in place, but, I mean, when you're dealing with 2,800 people... That's a lot of people. Like, apprentices that have been practicing and trying to learn to do this so they can do it, and all of those like man hours that are now just gone. I mean, how do people survive? Like, what the fuck? You talk about making jobs, you're fucking taking them away, you dick.
I know. I thought the whole purpose of like government was to create more jobs and stuff.
Yeah.
For people, and now they're just oh well, are they like upgrading them or something? So it's like a temporary thing, or is it? Yeah. Like, I don't know.
Oh, I mean, it's a permanent shutdown. The idea is that they want to create, obviously, like an electric powered one. I can't remember. I think
green.
It's like an EARC one or something, which is much more, carbon neutral friendly, and that's fine. That's we all want to see it go greener and be safer, but. Do it in the right way. Don't just boot a bunch of fucking people out that have been working there for years and years and years and just,
it's that kind of, with it being Port Talbot as well, the government don't care about Port Talbot. They care about London and surrounding areas. So it's easy to just make legislation and put it in place far away where you don't see anything. And you probably don't have any visits lined up in the near future.
Yeah. Exactly.
And we need to just keep on investing in our own country and manufacturing and creating more jobs. And it's just ridiculous that they obviously getting some pressure from like outside sources to be more eco-friendly, and they can tick those boxes easily by just removing these industries in faraway places for them.
I think the problem is as well is that this is down to Tata Steel as well. Like they have the money to put the time and invest in it and keep people's jobs and do it properly. They just don't want to because money corrupts. So they're just corrupt as fuck and want to keep making a shit ton of money without having to invest. And it's like, great.
I wouldn't be surprised if Rishi had shares in them.
Probably, yeah. I think I'll read one quote from Rishi. I won't read the entire thing again. It'll be linked down below. But Missy Sunak, Mr. Sunak, Sunak, Jesus.
Is that his wife?
Yeah. Mr. Sunak did respond, I know this is an anxious time for steelworks in South Wales, but we are committed to working with the steel sector to secure a positive and sustainable future. He added what was promised to happen in South Wales was the loss of 8,000 direct jobs, thousands more across the supply chain, and the complete closure of the plant. Because of the government's investment and support and partnership, we have safeguarded 5,000 direct jobs. That's a lie. And thousands more in the supply chain and ensured the long-term sustainability of steel so that it will have a bright future. But they're closing the plant, which is pretty much one of the only plants now that makes steel in the UK and will be the only country that doesn't make our own steel anymore. You're full of shit, Sunak. Fuck off. Like, just be honest. Just be like, they don't want to pay the money for it. We're going to try and help people if we can. Sorry about that, lads. There's fuck all I can do. My hands are tied.
Yeah.
Like, it's up to Tata to do it, and they don't want to do it. So I can't do any more. Like, if he had come out and said that, people would at least be like, well, at least he's fucking honest. But he's an MP.
Yeah.
Of course he's not going to be honest.
Yeah. And wasn't his wife done for being this guru of wealth in India, not paying taxes and stuff like this in the UK?
She had an entire offshore
also
account.
Yeah, so that makes me think that they have some connections with this kind of business, and
of course
makes me feel like it's a personal gain thing.
Yeah, I think it's no. I don't think anyone would be surprised if it came out that Sunak was like the decision making behind this was to help his back pocket as well.
Yeah, I don't mean to make conspiracies, but
I gotta be honest. I don't think it's that fucking conspiratorial. I mean, look at all the fucking government's done in the past 3 years. Like, I think it's become fairly obvious that they don't give a shit, and they don't give a fuck about the people. They don't care what we think. They just want to make it an authoritarian state so they can have all the power. That's it. They don't want to put things to vote. They don't want to fucking choose. They want the only choice, which is we make the decisions. You shut up and get on with it. And that's how it's been for fucking ages. Hopefully, something will happen to stop it getting any worse, but I doubt it.
We can only hope.
Yeah. But
so that's negativity section.
Have you got? Is there any more news?
I don't actually have anything else for news.
Okay. Well, fuck it. Let's move on. Let's not dwell on the shit part of the news.
Yeah.
Let's go into. Should we go into games? Let's go into some gaming news and stuff. What have you been playing, good sir?
Well, this section for me, I haven't really got much because I have been trying to reduce a bit of screen time, and that's not great when it comes to podcasting. But I have been playing a bit of Battlefield 2042, which I did download the other night, and it's actually pretty fun. Yeah, I was enjoying it. I was playing some kind of conquest mode on this big bloody ship or something. It was cool. Yeah, I've been enjoying that. It's one of those games that has just can continuously improve. These Battlefield and Battlefront and stuff, and EA games in that genre, they always kind of start off quite shit and buggy and horrible. But as they go on and throughout the years, they just kind of get great again. Make Battlefield great again. So yeah, I can't complain about that. I was having a bit of fun with that last night.
That's good.
A Plague Tale, I think I already talked about that. I haven't played any more of it this week, to be honest, so I can't really say anything else on it. I want to try and get through Plague Tale Requiem. But yeah, what have you been playing, good sir?
I'm in a bit of a similar boat because I've been trying to fucking do everything else. I did play, there was an indie horror game that I streamed very recently, which was called Unsorted VHS. I do enjoy a good indie horror. It was an interesting one. I was a little bit lost when I was playing it. I don't think I fully followed along properly, but after playing it and coming off and sort of processing it a little bit, I think I was a little more screwed on with it and kind of understood it, but I highly recommend people go and check that out. I'll leave the link for it down below. It's on itch.io. It's only £2. It's a nice little short indie horror. You know, it's fun. So go and support indie devs because they need it. But that's good. I played a little bit more Resident Evil 4 Remake. Slowly getting through that now. I'm almost done through my first playthrough of it. But yeah, it's taken me a little while. Taking a little while. And of course, working on Hogwarts Legacy still. That is still something I am getting through.
Yeah, and it is a mammoth, especially if you want 100%.
Yeah, I think I'm like 71% through it now, so I'm getting there. But
trying to find all them bastard in pages.
I had to stop looking for them because I have to wait for a part to open up in the game. So I've just gone off and done other stuff. So I've done like the simple stuff like breeding all the types of animals and having fucking every animal in captivity and upgrading like weapons and armors and shit like that.
I know stuff like that is when I just start to like switch off from it. I think because I'm a kind of a casual enjoyer. I'll like play the game and then do as much as I can, and then at some point, if it comes to capturing every single animal and all this kind of thing, it's just like this is just tedious.
But I mean, a trophy hunter.
People, obviously, diehard Hogwarts Harry Potter fans will be wanting to experience every single thing. But
yeah, that's good. That's good. But
it's good.
I mean, there is a little bit of news in regards to gaming that I do have that we could have a quick chat about. Of course, the purchase went through for Microsoft, Activision, Blizzard. Obviously they've managed to buy them now. They now own them. They're just finishing off the final little bits here and there. However, they laid off over 1,900 staff. It's like, for fuck's sake, like, why is it they've been merged and suddenly just all the staff get dropped? Like, the fuck?
Like all community managers and stuff have like been sacked because they're not important, right?
Yeah, it's fucking crazy to me. I can't quite understand. I mean, I get that the problem is with gaming companies these days, we've seen it for ages now, is they want that bar of profit to keep going up, and it's impossible. It's not sustainable. There will come a time where it will drop again. It will never, ever just keep going up. It's impossible to have infinite growth. So it's going to crash, and they're just trying to delay it by firing people and letting people go, and it's fucking stupid. The thing is, if we ever talk about games on this podcast or on my channel, or you see Sean in a stream with me and he's talking about it, like whenever we as gamers talk about games being crap or disappointing or letting us down, it's not a case of we're having a go at the developers. It's never their fault. It is always the fucking higher ups. It's their problem. I mean,
it looks like there's something behind you. A robot.
where?
That thing.
That?
No, other side.
Other side? Wait, other side.
Yeah, it's like exactly where you're pointing, but where you like turn around the other way. There.
Oh, right, these.
It looks like
Oh no, that's
looks like Wally's behind you, isn't it?
No, they're not Wally's. They're not Wally's. They are the. I've got the Walking Dead graphic novels there, along with. I ended up a while ago buying the MCU up to phase 4 box sets, like the collector's ones. So they're all on display back.
Oh right, okay. I just saw a face.
I see it now. I see it, but yeah, I can see what you mean.
I don't know why I didn't just notice that then.
Yeah.
Apologies.
No, not at all. But yeah, I mean, it's what it is. Any games?
Yeah, I read something about. I read something about this. I think one of the CEOs of Sony said something like game streaming will never be as profitable as like video streaming.
Which I believe. I mean, that's the thing. Like, you look at something like Game Pass. That's been out for a long time now, right? You'd think they're making money off it. They haven't made a penny.
Yeah.
They've only ever lost money. So I mean, that should tell you enough, you know.
But yeah, it's a similar case with like Disney and stuff, isn't it? Like these things are always kind of. It's just like when do they get to the point where they are profitable? Because they're always going to be non-profitable for a certain amount of time, aren't they?
Oh, of course, yeah. Especially when they're making their own shows, making your own games, basically releasing them.
Yeah.
I mean, this is why Sony has avoided putting their games day one on their services, because it's they want to make the money off of the game first and then put it on, like later on, like 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line, which makes more sense if you're trying to keep making money. But for the consumer, it's a bit shit.
Yeah,
But
it's good for the hashtag patient gamer club. But yeah, not for people who want those games like Game Pass do them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he does have a point there. He is correct in saying that they're not going to be as profitable because games are far more expensive. Well, are they more expensive than TV series and films?
I would say probably when it comes to buying a film.
Probably with
like when you buy a film, the most
man
you
hours.
pay is like a tenner, 15 quid for it, and it takes like hundreds of millions to make films. We're not denying that.
Yeah.
Sometimes hundreds of millions, but most of the time, if you look at films' budgets, it's normally between 30 and 50 million. Normally, right? For the average film. For a game, it's somewhere upwards of the hundreds of millions, like normally.
Yeah.
They have to spend a lot to make it happen. So, yeah, I can see why a lot of people might be like, but that's worrying. Why we're not making money now. But yeah.
But in terms of your previous question, I am looking forward to GTA 6. Been talking a lot. I've been playing a bit more GTA recently, actually. That's one thing I've been playing, but
that's cool.
There's nothing really to say about that. We've been talking amongst friends about GTA 6, and they're worried that it might become a bit more like woke and stuff. I was like, I think that it can work in their favor, like as well as against them with this whole kind of wokeness and identifying as whatever the hell you want. I think they can definitely make some good comedy out of that. So I'm not too worried about the whole comedy and satire of the GTA series kind of going downhill, because I think they'll keep on creating new things.
Yeah. I think Rockstar are inventive enough that they'll find a way around it. And let's be real, even if they didn't go down that road, they'd be fine. It's GTA. This game is going to make billions regardless. Like, they'll be fine.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the only one I'm kind of a day one purchaser of.
Yeah. That's fair.
But yeah, and a lot of people will be the same, I think, because it's just a staple at this point. And who wouldn't want GTA with Red Dead 2's engine? And how they haven't done like a next gen update of Red Dead 2 yet is just absolutely.
That's Rockstar for you. They don't care. Like, I mean, Christ, look at the port they did for Red Dead 1. It was fucking shocking. So I mean, I'm not surprised.
You just move at snail's pace.
I think I'm looking forward to GTA 6, but I don't know if I'm going to be a day one buyer of it. I think more so I'm going to wait and see. I imagine that GTA Online is just going to stay its own thing now. Like, they'll probably upgrade the engine and plod along, but I feel like they'll just switch it over essentially, because they make billions off of that thing a year or annually. So I mean, they don't need to worry about that shit.
Yeah, that is their cash cow.
Quite literally, yeah. I so wish they had
keep the money rolling in, boys.
I wish they had put more effort into Red Dead 2's online, because it was so good, and I would have happily continued to play it, but it was so fucking boring by the end of it.
I know.
It's like, why not have the zombies? Bring zombies back, fucking do something cool.
Every now and then I get like a twinge to play it again, but for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
But yeah, then I just go, oh well, I just end up kind of galloping around on my horse, not knowing what to do. So yeah, that's it. If they put the same amount of effort into GTA and Red Dead 2's online, like, it would be absolutely amazing. But they can only kind of focus their attention on one, because one makes the money and one doesn't.
Yeah. Exactly.
So that's basically the end of that.
It's a shame, yeah.
Unfortunately, for now.
What about Suicide Squad? Kill the Justice League. What are we thinking? Like, have you seen a lot of it?
Yeah, I'm kind of mildly anticipating it, but I think after Avengers and after Gotham Knights and stuff, I'm just kind of over this kind of genre of game at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, from what I've seen, they changed their entire marketing. They changed their entire marketing campaign around that game, because they saw how much people fucking hated the gameplay that they had shown off. Because bear in mind, this is coming from, the guys that made the Arkham series, right? Great single player games, really polished. I know the Arkham Knight port for PC was fucking shocking, but we don't talk about that. But everything else, polished, really good. They've done really well, and they are primarily story-based single player games. And then now they've made a live service game about Suicide Squad, and it's like, oh, for fuck. just why? Fucking
Yeah.
why? The story looks really cool to it, but that's literally all I
Yeah.
care about. Everything else I don't give a shit, and I'm just probably not going to get it. I'll be honest. I'll probably
Yeah,
wait for
the
it to come out
story
next
and
month.
animations and stuff look good. I'm beginning to notice a lot of the same people in a lot of games. In terms of
Yeah.
like game actors. But yeah, it's yeah. I'm looking forward to the story of it, but yeah, it's not going to be a day one for me. It's going to be a wait and see.
Yes, definitely.
Uh,
One I am looking forward to, Helldivers 2. That actually looks really, really
okay.
interesting. Like co-op, you know, running around shooting like big monsters and stuff, working as a team, like going off on quests and stuff. That actually kind of looks interesting. And what's even better is it's not going for like a stupidly high price either. So
Yeah,
that actually does look quite intriguing. I won't lie.
yeah.
A little bit more
It's
intriguing.
nice these days where there's a an affordable game which you can get.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd probably get told off if I didn't talk about this, but the Outlast trials. So this is the multiplayer game that's coming out in March, based on the Outlast series, and the idea is I think it's the same as sort of like Dead by Daylight, kind of all those games. One killer,
Okay.
4 people have to try and escape. I think. Right?
Asymmetric.
Yeah, and I mean, look, it looks pretty interesting. It looks pretty good. It's not being sold for a full price game. I don't think. I think it's something like £35 in the UK, and I'm guessing about $40. At a rough guess. But it looks interesting, you know. But
Yeah, we've had a lot of fun in this genre.
yeah, I do. Fucking lots of people have enjoyed watching me shit myself. So, but I think it'd be interesting for them to do a multiplayer kind of title with the IP, because obviously everything's been single player. So I don't know.
Yeah, I could see how it would work with it being stealthy and stuff. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see because there's not really many games in this genre, but they are becoming more popular these days.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously, the king of it is Dead by Daylight, and it still has the crown because it's got like Alan Wake update next and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You just have all the IPs on there.
Yeah, they're staying. I don't think they're going anywhere.
They're still the king of the hill,
Yeah.
king of the genre, but yeah, nothing has really compared to it. Friday the 13th was that competitor for a little bit, but then that obviously the licensing thing absolutely killed that game.
Yeah.
And then there's like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre one, but no one really talks about that.
Yeah.
And the Evil Dead one.
Yeah.
No one really plays that.
I remember I played a bit of the Evil Dead one, and I thought it was good, but I just thought there's nothing different.
But it's
the same thing. Just I can get better on Dead by Daylight because there's all the characters are there. Like I don't need to just focus on one IP.
Yeah, it's kind of like probably a me problem in the fact that I can't be bothered to learn all the mechanics of like every single character and thing in what there's when I can just go and play Dead by Daylight.
What I don't get is
but yeah, that's probably a gamer problem.
Yeah, I mean, this company has managed to get a lot of good IPs and stuff, which is what amazes me. And it's like, why not do like a single player story thing? Doesn't have to be super long, but just, you know, like I know they had a single player kind of thing with Evil Dead, but it wasn't great.
So, or make the next Outlast like co-op.
Yeah.
Oh, that's something that'd be good.
That could be interesting. Like, you know, the only way you can talk is through a walkie-talkie in the game. Can't be in a party or anything. You have to talk to each other like that, and that could be cool.
One of you could like distract someone. I've been waiting for like ages for a game, like a horror game that is like proper like single player, well, like multiplayer kind of story based game.
Yeah.
And it seems like they've just not been getting them. Obviously, we've got the like kind of Mind of Medan and all them kind of anthology things, but they're just not good.
I mean, like I think the problem with them is they have interesting premises, but it always feels like they're done half-assed. It doesn't feel like they're done well. Like, don't get me wrong, some of the acting is just fucking awful, but some of the acting is actually really good. Like, I love the guy in the beginning of every one of those games. I know he's cheesy. Yeah. I know he's a bit over the top, but I love him.
He's probably the best part.
But he's
I think my enjoyment of them kind of went downhill for every single one we played so far, which is weird.
I mean, we've got the devil guy, but
because on paper I should love these kind of games.
Yeah, well, that's what me and you have always tried to find games that are like that, but it's just it's fucking none of them. Like, you know,
yeah,
and it's such a shame.
Something like Alien Isolation, like if they do a second one, I'd love to play that like co-op, and that would be amazing co-op. That would be so one of you could like distract the alien or something, and then the other one can.
I might fuck ever playing through it on Nightmare again, but yeah, I'll play that. I'll play that game again. It was great. Like I think there's a lot of potential for that genre and that sort of area in it, but it's just no company seem to want to do it. I know we had like A Way Out, you know, It Takes Two, which great games, but doesn't scratch that itch. Like
Yeah.
I want that itch scratched.
Make one like that, but absolute horror themed.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I'd love something like that.
Yeah, and not the quarry and all this kind of thing where you pass the controller. Like, no, that's boring as fuck. We want to play together.
Also,
Okay.
Not everyone can be in the same room. Sean lives in England. I live in Wales. There was a difference.
I know. It's like movie mode. Yeah, it's multiplayer. No, it's not multiplayer. Shut up.
Stop it. Stop it. Yeah. Anything else?
Yeah, shall we move on to... I've not got anything else for games unless you have.
Nope. I am out.
Well,
So.
we shall move on to movies and TV things we have been watching.
Yes, we shall. Yes, we shall.
This section has been kind of crossed over from last week. I think things that I forgot to mention last week. So.
Yes.
But yeah, if you would like to start off.
I will start off with Saw X, because I have finally watched it.
Oh, you watched it. Did you watch it with Robin?
No. Bless little Robin's heart. We know she's going through some shit, so much love to you, Robin. We hope you're okay.
That is the thing that would have made her feel better.
I'm sorry, but no, I rented
you have single-handedly caused this.
I rented it. I watched it. I thought, do you know what? It actually surprised me. I think it's a bit weird chronologically. I get where they were trying to go with it, but when it's obvious that the characters are much older,
oh yeah,
slightly, you have to kind of disdain your belief for a little bit.
Don't look at Amanda's wig.
Yeah, but I mean, look, it was a good film. I think it was done well. It definitely showed John Kramer in a different light.
More vulnerable.
Yeah, and I was glad that he got the opportunity to see Tobin Bell have the opportunity to show a bit more emotion, a bit more range.
He's 81 years old as well.
Yeah, exploring this character, he did amazing. It was an amazing job. It was cool to kind of have the little cameos that they had with all the characters, like the detective coming back and seeing him again, Amanda. Yeah. But I do find it, again, it's the same thing with all the Saw films as they went on. You kind of have to, your belief kind of has to take a step back. But it was good.
Yeah.
It was a Saw film. And
what did you think of the absolute villainous, treacherous woman who is somehow worse than John Kramer himself?
I mean, yeah. She deserved what she got. So, I mean, yeah, I think it was an interesting take to put on it. And it's an interesting spin on the fact of, this is why John started it. It wasn't to hurt people. It was to, punish the people that they were hurting other people innocently. But I got a bit confused at one point. I was like, is this a prequel or is it like an epilogue? Is it like a sequel? And I think the idea is it's a sequel, but also
sequel to the original.
Yeah, but also a prequel. So it's like
it's an in-betweequel.
Yeah,
I think you'll find.
And in between.
In between.
But I mean, yeah.
Flirtation.
A few obvious things that were a bit obvious. I think the guy who was like, "Hey, I had this surgery and had the scar." It was like, "Oh, okay, so he's a liar."
Yeah,
he's part of it. I think a few things were fairly obvious, but it was done well. It was written well. Yeah. The effects were really good. I'm glad they didn't just go fucking CGI. That was good.
Yeah. Well, we knew everything was going to shit, but it's quite nice to experience a calm first half of the movie where you're just kind of chilling with John Kramer and seeing his conversation, seeing how he acts around people, and he's like, "What's your line of work?" "Oh, well, I help people like a mentor." Something like that. That's great. I mean, I don't think anyone can really be fully on board with his motivation and stuff because just does not. It's not. It's not quite sane. But I think when you kind of get past that, you unlock his true little character and oh, isn't that? Yeah. Nice to see him like that. Nice to see his interactions with Amanda as well, and that kind of mentorship and emotional conversations that they had.
Definitely. It was definitely interesting to see Amanda come back and explore that character as well, or the lady that plays Amanda, I should say, to come back and do that. She's a very good actress and she's done very well. But I think the best thing I can say about this film is if you are a massive fan of Saw, it's incredibly different to most of the Saw films. Getting to see into John Kramer's life and who he is as a person and what he wants to accomplish and more of an emotional side to him, like wanting to live, that kind of thing. I definitely think they took a big risk with it, and I think it paid off. I think it was a fantastic film. I do think the traps were a little bit less of the film, I think a lot of people that go to Saw for the traps, I think, will be maybe a little bit disappointed because they're not really the same.
It's more kind of organic and raw, like not as elaborate too much.
Personally, I preferred that. I preferred that personally, but like I understand why a lot of people might have been like, "Oh, that's really."
It's kind of a bit annoying where they all kind of follow the same formula. Of, like the person actually does what they need to do, but because they ran out of time in like 2 minutes to do this impossible task, then they get killed anyway. Yeah, which is a bit annoying because it's like 3 times in a row that happened.
Yeah,
and you're like, but these people don't deserve this. Like, how can you chop off your own leg, suck out the bone marrow in like 2 minutes?
Oh God, I know. Brutal. But yeah,
that's what I thought. They were kind of too harsh with the traps. Like, but I know it's like they're always harsh with the traps.
I think the interesting one was the one that John got put in, and with the kid, and the kid was trying to help him, and he was trying to help the kid. So that was an interesting exploration of John's mind and whatnot. But
it's on the edge of my seat for that bit.
But then after it kind of let me down a bit when it was like, oh, he had this planned out from the start. I was like, oh. That would have been a really nice thing if he hadn't. That wasn't it.
Yeah, I think, well, he planned that him and Amanda would be in the trap. I don't think he planned for the kid to be there.
Yeah.
But so that was like one little aspect of that they did. But he's always one step ahead, and he always has a plan, I suppose. But is that woman going to come back in the sequels?
Maybe.
To this one.
I mean, yeah, she's trapped there technically, but I mean, the gas went off.
Yeah, I think the very last scene, the gas was like sucked out, and so I think there is a deleted scene actually, which you can watch on YouTube. That the door opens and she comes out of this hole, and so she's obviously escaped, and she seems like the kind of person who'll hold a grudge. I don't know why, she's absolutely unhinged.
But it was cool to the last cameo of the film, the last scene of the film. It was nice to see the detective helping him out.
Yeah.
The first guy that they
pissed off the wrong guy.
Pissed off the wrong guy. And then just the fucking trap.
I'm really surprised that the director of this one actually directed some of the worst Saw sequels as well.
Yeah.
Like he did 6 and 7, I think, and now he's doing this one. Like, well, fair play, you've improved. You've pulled it out the bag.
He got redemption. He or she? Was it he or she? Hold on. I want to make sure I get this right.
I think it's a he.
Director, Kevin Grutert. Sorry if I probably butchered that, but he did some of the He also directed Spiral from the Book of Saw.
Yeah, which, as we said, the worst one.
The worst Saw movie I've ever seen in my life, but not a bad film. It just shouldn't have been a Saw film. It was clearly a detective film that just got Saw shoved on it, so they could.
Robin hasn't seen that one.
Not missing a lot.
So come on, Robin. As a Saw fan, you should watch that one.
Yeah. That is a very good film, but it's just not a good Saw film. That's my take on it. It's
Saw in the Hood.
It's a great detective action thriller film, but it's not a Saw film. Simple as. But yeah.
Yeah, so, and I don't know what the hell that ending was.
But yeah, watched Saw.
But yeah,
that was good.
That was a long Saw segment.
Yeah. Sorry. Right.
Wow, we are passionate about Saw.
Yes. What have you got, sir? What have you got?
I'll mention these two briefly. I watched Violent Night, which is a Christmas film. Not really. The only Christmassy part is that he's wearing a Christmas jumper at the start. Yeah. It's kind of like John Wick meets Taken. Santa Claus. So it's quite good. It's quite low key for a lot of it, and it's not as elaborate as some of the John Wick set pieces and stuff. But it's quite decent. I quite enjoyed it. Perhaps kind of felt a bit flat towards the end, but yeah, it's quite an enjoyable one. I'd recommend it, and you don't have to watch it time because it's not really got much of a Christmas edge to it. I think they were just kind of marketing it towards the Christmas.
Yeah.
I also watched Shazam: Fury of the Gods.
Oh, okay. No, I'm interested because I've not watched it because I couldn't care less. But
yeah, I mean, it's it was one of those kind of standalone kind of titles which you can kind of enjoy if you switch your brain off and stuff. But I think the first one was a bit better in that regard. But this one is kind of fun. It's interesting to see Helen Mirren in there. I don't think they really used her to her full potential and stuff because she's just kind of there. Yeah, I don't know. I've never been a massive fan of the Shazam kind of character in films, but it's all right. I think kids would like it more, more relatable to them. Because obviously the kids are like growing up now from the previous one, so they have to kind of have more responsibilities and find jobs and all this kind of thing that they have to deal with in the background, which will be more relatable, a younger audience, I suppose. Coming of age tale with their powers.
Coming of age.
But yeah, I've not really got much else to say about that one. Other than it was okay, 5 out of 10.
Okay, 5 out of 10.
Violet Knight was probably 5.5, 6 out of 10.
Not fair. I finished Gen V. Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. I think there was a good few cameos in there from Soulja Boy and Homelander. It was cool to see them. I think there's a lot of potential for it. I'm very excited for The Boys season 4. They've got 3 people back from Supernatural who are now in it as well. You've got Jeffrey Dean Morgan, you've got the guy who played Bobby, and there was the original Prophet as well. He's back in it. He's the guy that's splitting into 2.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to see Eric Kripke getting the Supernatural gang to join in with The Boys. Because they're all great actors as well, which obviously helps. But it's cool to see them have that chemistry on screen again after so long. So
yeah, it's such a kind of guilty pleasure TV show.
Everything
about it just works. It's just so cool to watch, and you just want to watch it again.
Yeah. Also, I think Arnold Schwarzenegger's son did a great job. I thought he was a good actor.
Yeah.
And
I didn't realize that.
No, I didn't either, because I was I swear his son was
he had a familiar look about him.
Yeah. But then I was that is his. Okay, cool. And it was
only the boys would have Arnold Schwarzenegger's son.
Yeah, only they would dare. It was really good. I thought Gen V was very good. There was a few moments where I was a bit all right, okay. But I mean, overall, I'd give it a solid 9 out of 10. It was brilliant, and I am very, very excited for The Boys season 4 and see how they continue this on, how it's all going to link in. I've watched the fucking every trailer there is for The Boys season 4 because I'm just. I hate Carl Urban in my life.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's one of those shows that gets your adrenaline going, and we all love it. We're just all anticipated for the next season.
Yes, very excited for it. Very, very excited.
I went back and watched Lara Croft Tomb Raider.
Okay.
I actually watched that with Robin last week, I think it was.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, it's got Chris Berry in it, so that's probably why we watched it. Yeah, It's interesting to go back to these films that you watch as you grow up as a kid, and you just don't understand who the people are and what's going on. But yeah, it's very interesting to see this adaptation of Lara Croft at this age when you've seen so many other adaptations since.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think Angelina Jolie is the original movie version of Lara Croft, and no one can really beat her.
No.
She's very watchable.
There's some obvious moments, I think, from what I remember in the original Tomb Raider films that are, shall we say, there for a certain audience.
Yeah.
But not to shit on her acting or the fight sequences.
No, that's completely the directors.
Beautiful. They've done an amazing job with it. It's a great film. It stands up today. But I think there are a few things that probably would have been changed if it was made today.
And it's interesting to see young versions of obviously there's Chris Berry and Ian Glenn as well from Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Yummy.
Apple.
But yeah, all very good actors, and yeah, this is obviously where they started, near where they started, and they only kind of blossomed from there. And it's a very enjoyable film. I kind of want to watch the sequel as well.
Yeah, I want to go back and watch them. So
it's on BBC iPlayer.
Yeah, I might watch them tonight.
Yeah. No, you won't. You'll watch Leftovers with me.
That's true. Yeah, no, I will watch Leftovers with you. That's true. On my new mattress. My new mattress, which is still, I think, needs a night to expand. So I'll probably have to use my old mattress. I've used it. I've left it for 48 hours. When did you get it? 48 hours ago. So
okay, yeah.
So, but sometimes they say 48 hours, but it's give it another day just to be safe. So
I remember getting a new mattress and it absolutely stunk. I think I woke up with a headache. Sleeping on it for the first time.
That would it doesn't stink. Although it is taking a long time to expand, I will be honest, but
Yeah.
I think it doesn't help that I've had to move it off the floor, put it back on top of there when I'm doing stuff during the day, so that probably didn't help. But
Also, how the hell do they roll them up and transport them? Like, how the hell do they do that? Because they're rolled up so tight. And then when you open it, it's like.
yeah. I mean, I think it's fully expanded. I don't know. It's one of those things you just never know. Just always questioning. So we'll see. But I needed a new mattress. The other one was fucked. Anyway.
Yeah.
I
Left mattress talk.
I love mattress talk. I love a bit of pillow talk with you, Sean.
Yeah. You just want to get me to look at your mattress.
Yeah, want to visit?
Oh, we'll flatten it out. No, dude.
Yes, but wait, no, focus.
Edit that
Focus.
out. Edit that out.
I'm getting flustered. I'm going red, Sean. So I actually watched the new Transformers film, Rise of the Beast, on Paramount Plus.
Okay.
And I'm actually pleasantly surprised. It's probably the best Transformers film that's been made. Better than the three Michael Bay ones.
I've heard people say that.
It's very, very good. It has Ron Perlman in it, and obviously, yeah, Ron Perlman's a good actor. He doesn't have like a huge part in it. Like, it's one of the main characters, but there's so many characters, I think it's hard for them to give all of them screen time. But
Yeah.
honestly, a fantastic film. I'd say it's probably the best Transformers film they've made. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. So it's good, but it does have its issues, but it's good. Looks good. The effects are great. Acting's good. Maybe a little bit too long, but I mean, you've got a lot going on in the film, so.
Yeah. Optimus Prime. Still got it.
Autobots transform. Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah. Proper fans who don't know the quotes.
Autobots. Fuck the Decepticons.
Unite.
Autobots accept.
Autobots, build yourself.
Autobots rail. No more of this stuff.
Bionicle.
But yeah, I would suggest it. I would recommend it if people can watch it.
Okay, yeah.
Good film.
You have to get that on that Paramount Plus. But yeah, that's. I've not got any other movies unless you've got any more.
No,
movies.
just one more thing, which is Reacher season 2. Finished that.
Oh,
and
I'm jealous.
Phenomenal. Of course it was. Cool a few good little references in there as well, which were fun to see. But yeah, it was very good, and I'm looking forward to. I think they said they are doing a season 3, but they've confirmed the books they're basing it on. So I don't know. Just wait and see now. But Alan does a great job. Great job.
Yeah, Alan was in Fast X as well. I forgot to mention that either.
Yes, he was. He isn't in it anymore. apparently, he had a clash with Vin Diesel, and apparently
who hasn't had a clash with Vin Diesel these days?
Yeah, exactly. I think his ego's a little bit too big. Apparently, it was something along the lines of like Alan said something to him that was, knocking his ego a little bit, and Vin didn't like it. So it's like goodbye. So, for fuck.
And then there's Jason Momoa's ego is just like, way too big for his boots.
I think he did great in Fast X, but yeah, I mean, he's a nice guy, I hope, from what we've seen publicly, but they've always got something behind the scenes, so.
They always got something.
Always
They've got their bugs in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it.
I think we've covered all bases there.
Yeah, I think we've done good.
Yeah, done good.
As guest, hour long.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's the thing. With these being every 2 weeks now, we kind of don't have as long time to kind of prepare things and watch things and play things.
And also, you've got to bear in mind as well. It's that sure, we could leave it months and months on end, but not necessarily better to have a longer podcast. Quality over quantity, as we say. So. But, yeah.
Keep it current.
Exactly. Thank you to everyone that has watched. Of course, as always, we do appreciate it. If you ever have any suggestions for us, don't forget to comment or message Sean or me and let us know, and we'll chat about it. And yeah, we hope you enjoyed this episode. We're coming fairly close to that 100 episode. I think we're on high 70s now. But I don't think we'll reach 100 this year. But who knows? Maybe.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Let us know what you think we should do for the 100th one.
Yeah, what would you like to see for the 100th one? Start giving us ideas. So
no naked podcast. That's just my fantasy.
Make a podcast with a lot of censoring. But yes, take care of yourselves, everyone. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Like a rose.